Quick test. I have a Polish friend who's a sound engineer, and actually a check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2. Good. Okay, and now give a quick show of hands. Do we have anyone here called Michael? Any Michaels here this morning? Okay, that's my mic check complete. Okay, good morning. I will shortly be calling through the stage party prior to the start of our speech day. Before I do that and formally welcome you all, please be aware that should you need, there are toilets in this direction. I would recommend walking along the paving slabs to get around to there. I will do my utmost to ensure we run to time. So although the program says we'll be finishing at 1 o'clock, I'm sure we'll be finished well before then. And I'll send you on your way to your lunches and other commitments. I trust that the program will be clear in the order, and I'll make sure that I indicate very clearly what we all need to do. In the interest of keeping enthusiasm up and keeping to time, we will, for the most, clap in groups of students rather than every single individual. And just to reassure particularly parents, where I read out a slightly different name to what is written on the program, that has been at the request of a student. Okay, so I'm going to shortly call in the stage party. And as we have the final people joining us, let me do that and let us stand for the stage party to be arriving. And I'm going to have to sing to you because they're just slowly getting here. Reverend Hackman, if you can hear me, I think you're leading the way for the stage party. Please do come in, stage party. Okay, and our stage party this morning, and they'll be seated from left to right, and you'll be able to work out the order in which they're contributing. Our Reverend Hackman, our school chaplain, who will be seated on the end. And then the Vice Chair of Governors, Dr. Linda Kangara. And then we have Mr. Ben Pennington, Senior School Head Teacher. And last, we have Miss Mbithe, our Assistant Head Co-Curricular. And so now that our stage party are here with us, I'll formally welcome them and you. And please do take a seat. It is my pleasure and privilege to now formally begin Speech Day 2024. Mr. Adam Masava, our guest speaker, Dr. Linda Kangara, Vice Chair of Governors, other members of the board, parents, family, friends, students, teachers, welcome to Speech Day 2024. My name is Jonathan Williams. I'm the Deputy Head Academic. I will be your MC this morning. As ever, it is a joy and a privilege to join together to publicly recognize and celebrate the academic successes of many students this morning. Students who are honored on the stage in many ways represent not just their own well-deserved accolades, but also the successes and efforts of the whole student body, with the prize winners being pushed very closely by so many students. Therefore, alongside those who will be receiving awards on stage this morning, we will at various points recognize others not named on the program. But before we begin by recognizing some individual achievements, let us stand to formally open Speech Day with the national anthem written in the programs, and then remain standing for our opening prayer.
Almighty Creator, Maker of heaven and earth, King of kings, majesty. There is no one like you, no one to be compared to you, O Lord, in heaven, on earth, under the sea. You alone are God. For this far that we have come, Lord, it is all about you, and we say thank you. Thank you for the journey masses that you've given unto each and every one represented here together with their families. We do not take it for granted, Lord. Thank you for bringing us together to recognize the hard work and dedication of this year's award recipients. As we honor each name, help us to remember all glory belongs to you, Lord. Thank you for the friends and family who came to support and encourage these individuals. Without their love and support, this day will not be possible. As you say in your word in Colossians 3:23, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord. As you observe the many accomplishments of our students, we acknowledge that none of it will be possible without you. Help us, Lord, always to remember to do everything with a grateful heart and to keep our focus on you. As we remember the speakers of the day, my God, may you anoint them. May we learn from them. May we get a new experience that we will walk with it as we journey through this life, oh God. And so we invite your presence to start with us and even end with us. And we dedicate this amazing, beautiful ceremony before you, O Lord. For it is in the name of God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit we pray.
Please be seated. Thank you, Reverend Ockering, for beginning the day with a word of prayer. And so we begin, and this morning we're going to be celebrating a number of achievements which students may be recognized for the first time this morning. Some of them they will know about, some of them they won't. However, in the first instance, I'm going to recognize some students, and these are Outstanding Achievement Awards. And these are things that have been recognized earlier in the year, but they really are truly outstanding. And so I'm going to ask them, if they're here this morning, to stand up so that we can recognize them. Each exam board will recognize certain students as being top in Kenya, or even in Africa, or the world. And this year we had a number of students from St. Andrews Turi who were recognized in this way. We had Brianna Nyungeko, who was awarded the highest mark in Kenya in IGCSE French. I'm going to ask Brianna to stand up and the others to stand up, and we'll clap for all of them. So Brianna, please do stand up. We also had Wesley Lesenjian, who is not with us now. He's currently studying at the University of Cambridge, but he achieved the highest mark in the world for international A-level psychology, and also for in the highest mark in the world for A-level religious studies. Absolutely incredible achievements. We also had top in Kenya for IGCSE Design and Technology, Raphael Karamagi, who's over here, one of our prize winners this morning. He can stand up. And not named on the program because this was before she joined Turi, but we should also recognize Jasmine Ogutu, so you can stand up, Jasmine, who came top in Kenya in IGCSE Environmental Management. And as I say, those are awards that have been recognized earlier on this year, but they are incredible awards and set the tone very well. So we're going to jump into the speeches now. And in the theme of outstanding, I'm going to invite Mr. Pennington to come up. It's a great pleasure to welcome a man we almost all look up to. So Mr. Pennington, over to you.
Dr. Kangara, Mr. Masava, students, parents, and staff, welcome. Good morning. If you'd seen this tent yesterday, you would know what a remarkable achievement it is. The fact you're sat here with your feet on the ground, as opposed to them being publicly thank those staff involved in achieving this remarkable feat. Roberta, I'm going to name them. Roberta, just stand up for a moment. Ms. Muli, who has worked tirelessly over the last few days. Pam Thurlow, I'm not sure is here at the moment. And Mary Matusu and her catering team, and the entire workforce led by Terry. Without them, this event would not have happened, wouldn't have a chance of happening. And so we can just put our hands together to congratulate and to thank them for their work. Now, remarkable as it might seem, we're not just here to celebrate Jade's 18th birthday. We're here to celebrate the successes of a number of students. And I'm always keen to emphasize that they stand on the shoulders of all the students here. And we should understand that we're not celebrating one person, we're celebrating the achievements of a school. And you will hear over the course of this morning many academic successes. But I also want to talk about some of the non-academic successes or academic successes that have occurred in students' own time. For example, each year, many of our students opt into challenges set by the Mathematics Trust at different stages. And this year, we saw excellent levels of participation once again. And Tobaloba earned a silver certificate in the senior challenge and 3 students winning gold in the intermediate. Additionally, we have had a range of new initiatives this year, with Sunita and Tendo the first students to complete an extended project qualification worth half an A-level. And the inauguration of the National English Honours Society, chaired by Karani, and involving contributions from a number of students, including Johnny A's super new blog, Phoenix Uncovered. In competitive sports, we continue to compete for the highest awards, with highlights this year including outstanding success at the Kasarani Athletics, with over 50 students from year 9 to 13 ensuring overall victory, along with the titles of winning the under-15 boys, the under-19 boys, and the under-19 girls categories. The under-19 girls netball Kaiso victory hosted here at Turi, where we came from behind at half-time to beat Maponi in the final. And the under-15s hockey winning Kaiso, including a last second penalty flick save by Shea. And the under-19 girls winning the inaugural Kaiso League competition. In addition to our wonderful orchestral weekend and school play, we've continued to extend our co-curricular offering. Every member of year 9, 10, and 11 has now climbed Mount Longonaut and circumnavigated the crater. Year 12 have also climbed the Sleeping Warrior, and year 10, I take this on Mr. Price Thomas's account, have conquered the Aberdares. This year saw year 12 adventure instructors running the adventure program for the main school on Saturday mornings for the first time, with candidates from this year's year 11 undergoing training later this term. And the World Scholars team qualified for the Tournament of Champions in the Yale America, where we emerged as the best in Kenya and second in Africa. Finally, from a co-curricular point of view, we have had so many people sign up to climb Mount Kenya this year, we've had to run 2 expeditions. Congratulations to everybody who made it to Point Ilana in January. The June group have big shoes to fill. If you fancy climbing a mountain next year, plans are already being formed. But if you can't wait that long, and I talk to parents as well as students here, maybe you want to pit yourself against a new climbing wall later. While I applaud all of you for your involvement and engagement in these successes, because they, as I said, they truly are all of yours to share, they are invariably facilitated and supported by the work of the fantastic staff here at St Andrews. Sadly, at the end of each year, we bid farewell to members of our academic staff, and this year is no different. Mr. Smith joined us in September 2022 as Director of Sport. Matt is a humble man who has a deep desire to see each student succeed. He has moved the sports department on significantly during his time at St Andrews, installing a culture of collaboration, hard work, and success, even leading the under-15s cricket team to a Kaiso final. He'll be missed by us all, almost as much as we'll miss his dog Roxy as he returns to Guernsey. Mr. and Mrs. Stone also joined in September 22 as teachers of chemistry and director of learning, respectively. Michelle immediately threw herself into the co-curricular offering, running trips for the world scholars, including to Korea and the United States. And Fraser has led the scholarship program as staff professional development, supporting GAs through teacher training and delivering weekly sessions to staff. He can also be found supporting the early morning rugby sessions up Killer Hill, but often frequently found at the top, rather than the bottom. We wish them and the children, Jace and Joymes, well as they continue their international journey in Southeast Asia. Nicola Ord joined the school in September 19 as spouse to Hamish, and then the school as teacher of history and head of year the following year. She has certainly left her impression at St Andrews. She is relentless in her pursuit of excellence and truly cares for the students, exemplified by her numerous meetings with students and parents this year as head of year 11. We wish her well professionally next year and look forward to her continued presence on site. Ruth Mackenzie joined as head of psychology in September 2020. In a one-person department, there is no hiding, and Ruth has no need to hide. She has driven the standard of psychology at both A-level and GCSE, helping students achieve outstanding examination results, including best in Africa and best in the world during her time at Turi. Her humour, esprit de corps, and passion for teaching will be missed by us all. Luann Gill joined the school in September 2019 and as assistant head academic in 2020. Typical of her nature to go above and beyond, Luann threw herself in to support even before she was officially in post, leading on the increased demands related to assessment due to COVID. This set the tone for her years of service since then, aspiring to be the highest standards in all areas, driven by her desire to support students and the wider school. Mrs. Gill's classes will also testify to her care and skills in the classroom, with our current Year 11 further mathematicians earning an astonishing 100% 8 and 9, A star in old money, in their November mathematics GCSE. Mrs. Gill has left her mark and legacy, and we join together in wishing her and her family all the very best for the next chapter of life in Portugal. Mr. Williams. There is so much that could and should be said about the impact Mr. Williams has had on St Andrews since he arrived in September of 2019. His steady hand when guiding the school through the trials of online learning during COVID was vital in ensuring continued academic success, both then and now. Although his mongrel mix of Irish, Welsh, and American heritage can occasionally be confusing when attempting to work out which team he's supporting, it also hints at a broad academic expertise that includes A-levels in maths, music, and religious studies, enabling him to have a firm handle on the workings of each department in the school. However, it is not just in the classroom where he'll be missed. I'm not just referring to his dreadful putting on the golf courses of Kenya. His dedication to and work in support of the chaplaincy is truly valued, both for students and the staff community. He is a man of great faith and integrity, an example for us all to follow. Johnny, his wife Sarah, and girls Annie, Lottie, and Eva will be sorely missed by us all, but we wish them well as they return to the UK, with Johnny taking up the position of Senior Deputy Head at Heathfield School in Ascot. Now, those of you who have been here before will kind of know how my speech tends to work. It tends to be sort of thanks and welcome, things that have happened over the school year, we're not capsulating here, goodbye to staff, and then a small bit of advice. And I promise you it is a small bit of advice, but I'm quite proud of the fact that this bit encapsulates cycling, football, and mathematics. In February, Sir Jim Radcliffe, the CEO of Ineos, became a minority shareholder in the English football club, Manchester United. Now, during his success, his right-hand man has been Dave Brailsford, and it's on him I wish to dwell. In 2003, Brailsford was hired by the British cycling team. Now, at that point, and I know it's difficult to imagine, they were in an even worse situation than Manchester United. They were terrible. They'd won one medal in cycling since 1908. No British cyclist had ever won the Tour de France. And top cycling manufacturers refused to let the British team use their kit for fear of negative publicity. But what made Brailsford different to previous coaches was his relentless commitment to a strategy that he referred to the aggregation of marginal gains. Brailsford and his team began by making small, what we would say are normal adjustments to improve the team. They redesigned the bike seats for each individual rider. They rubbed alcohol on the tyres to improve the grip, and they asked riders to wear electronically heated undershorts to keep their muscles at the right temperature. The team tested various fabrics in the indoor wind tunnel and found out that the indoor kit was more effective than the outdoor kit. It was lighter and more aerodynamic. But his team continued to find 1% improvements in overlooked and unexpected areas. They tested different types of muscle gels, which led to faster recovery. They hired a surgeon to teach the riders how to wash their hands properly to avoid colds. They determined the correct type of pillow and mattress for each rider's best night's sleep and transported that around. They even painted the inside of the team truck white, which helped them spot little bits of dust that would otherwise go unnoticed. As these and hundreds of other small improvements accumulated, the results came faster than anyone could ever have imagined. Just 5 years after Brailsford took over, the British cycling team dominated the road and track cycling events at the 2008 Olympic Games, where they won an astonishing 60% of the gold medals available. In 2012, Bradley Wiggins became the first British cyclist to win the Tour de France, and the next year, Chris Froome followed, and would go on again to win in 2015, 16, and 17, giving the team 5 Tour de France titles in 6 years. The 10-year span from 2007 to 2017 is widely regarded as the most successful run in cycling history. So why do small improvements accumulate into such remarkable results? And why do they matter to you? It's so easy to overestimate the importance of one defining moment and underestimate the value of making small improvements on a daily basis. Too often we convince ourselves that massive successes require massive action. We put pressure on ourselves to make some earth-shattering improvement that everyone will talk about. Meanwhile, improving by 1% isn't particularly notable. Sometimes it isn't even noticeable, but it can be far more meaningful, especially in the long run. The difference a tiny improvement can make over time is astounding. You ready for the maths? If you get 1% better each day for 1 year, you will end up 37 times better by the time you're done. Conversely, if you get 1% worse each day for 1 year, you'll decline nearly down to 0. What starts as a small win or a minor setback accumulates into something much more. In the beginning, there's basically no difference between making a choice that's 1% better or 1% worse. It won't impact you much on that day. But as time goes on, these small improvements or declines compound, and you suddenly find a very big gap between people who make slightly better decisions on a daily basis and those who don't. This is why small choices don't make much of a difference at the time, but add up over the long term. It has been said that success is a few simple disciplines practiced every day, where failure is simply a few errors in judgment repeated every day. Now, you probably won't find yourself in the Tour de France anytime soon, but the concept of aggregating marginal gains can be useful all the same. As I said, most people love to talk about success as an event, but the truth is that most of the significant things in life aren't standalone events, but rather than the sum of all the moments where we choose to do things 1% better rather than 1% worse. Adam Masava will shortly speak about a project that started with a thought and grew. There is power in small improvements and slow gains. This is why the system is greater than the goal. It's why mastering your habits is more important than achieving a certain outcome. Lionel Messi famously said, "It took me 17 years and 114 days to become an overnight success." And it perfectly encapsulates the reality of life. Often, we only see the end result, the trophies, the accolades, the fame, and forget about the years of dedication, of hard work and perseverance that went into achieving it. When you, students, are confronted by a path in life, however insignificant the decision may appear to be, choose the one that makes you 1% better, not 1% worse. The maths will back up your decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pennington, and thank you for setting the tone as we begin our first round of prizes. So as I invite the initial prizes, the prize winners for effort and attainment to line up ready to go, Dr. Kangar is very helpfully going to be handing out those prizes. And for clarity, we award every single year the top in each year group for effort and attainment. And so as Mr. Pennington's alluded to, this is work that these are the results of work that has come over many, many nights and weeks of hard effort and making those right choices. Just for clarity, the reason why we don't have year 11 and year 13 attainment prizes is because those will be awarded in the special prizes at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call up each student one at a time, but once they're all lined up, all 8 on stage, then we will give them a round of applause so we can give them a hearty round of applause all together. So our prize for year 9 efforts this year goes to Claire and Degwa. And as we move to those of you who are listening, well done. And the prize winners can be ready to collect each time. And the prize for year 9 attainment is going to go to Jasmine Mulunge. And as we move to year 10, the prize for year 10 effort goes to Fukemi Awashika. And as we move to year 10 attainment, this year it will go to Justin Mully. And on my right, we'll have our year 9 and 10 prize winners. And as they made this start to their time in school, we do congratulate those, but we also move on to our exam candidates. For year 11 effort, we have Ida Kerridge, and who's being rewarded for excellent effort against her CAT targets. And again, I mentioned that we won't have the year 11 academic prize, that will come at the end. And then as we move to year 12 efforts, that is being awarded this year to Jasmine Ogutu, who has joined us this year and has made an excellent impression on the school. And then as we come to year 12 attainment, this year that goes to Raphael Karamagi, who has worked incredibly hard to be awarded this. Although maybe he could do it going a little bit faster, but we won't judge him on that. I'm doing my best to finish on time. And then we have our year 13 prize for effort. This year goes to Lisa Wabugwa. And this is accumulation of many years of hard work, is extremely well deserved. And now that we have our 8 prize winners on stage for effort and attainment, let's join together and give them a huge round of applause. And after those initial prizes, it's my pleasure to introduce the Vice Chair of Governors. I should say that normally at this stage we would welcome our Chair of Governors, Mr. Mbuvi Ngunze, who sends his apologies for not being able to join us. But in his stead, we are privileged to have Dr. Kangara, who has served on the board in many capacities, is currently Vice Chair, but also has a particular affinity with the year group because her daughter was in the year group for many years in the school. So Dr. Kangara, thank you very much for your presence this morning.
Good morning. Turi family, I'm delighted to have the chance to address you this morning on behalf of the Board of Governors. I see some of the other governors here. Adrian Palmer, Andrew Aitito, Zoe Nightingale are also here. Thank you for gathering here in such large numbers despite the heavy rains. We especially remember those who have been affected or lost loved ones in this calamity, and we continue to pray for the nation. As we have indicated previously, the Board of Governors and the school executive actively meet to plan and track our strategy forward for sustainability and progression around 4 key elements: the education benefit we deliver, the staff required to provide the desired level of education, the infrastructure to support this, and our ability to finance and resource this vision. Our mission, to be the leading international school in Africa, transforming the hearts, minds, bodies, and souls of tomorrow's leaders, was adopted 3 years ago and remains central to our ambitions. We have, as you've already been informed, started the first phase of the master plan to refresh and improve our facilities for the future. This phased approach will take time, but will help to future-proof our facilities. You will no doubt appreciate that the process of upgrading and investing in new facilities is an expensive one. And there are opportunities for the wider Turi community to participate in the process, either through funding or giving. This is an exciting step, and we remain committed to get to the next stage of St. Andrew's rich legacy. And I'll remind you that in 2031, Turi will be 100 years old. We continue to pray for the recovery of the 4 members of our community who were involved in the electrocution incident on the campus. We thank the Turi family for their support, their quick action, their courage, and the prayers at the time of the incident, and for their generous giving, even as the school continues to meet the cost of treatment for the 4. We're particularly impressed by the parents' actions and just making sure that they support the community. The achievements of this academic year would not have been possible without you all. To the staff, both academic and non-academic, my sincere appreciation, again to all of you, for creating a conducive environment and a safe space for our children to learn, grow, and thrive. It takes a special group to do this, and so thank you from all of us. For those members of staff and their families who will be leaving us at the end of this academic year, I hope that your Turi journey has been fulfilling, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. To the parents, we continue thanking you for entrusting your children in the school's care, for your unwavering support and your valuable contributions. We hope that you will continue to partner with us to improve the way we engage with you in the lives of your children. To the students, thank you for your amazing energy and enthusiasm this year. Each one of you has attained success. And in particular, for those in year 13, may you prosper in your next steps and continue to seek the highest. And finally, to the class of 2024, go out into the world with the Turi values always in your heart. I'll leave you with the words of Winston Churchill: success is never final. Failure is never fatal. It is courage that counts. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kangara, for those words of wisdom. And now it's my privilege to introduce our guest speaker. While some of you may have met him, I know that many of you will not, so I will give a longer introduction. Mr. Adam Masava is a Kenyan artist and teacher. He grew up in the Mukuru kwa Njenga slums of East Nairobi. Currently, most of the work he creates portrays life in the informal settlement, giving detail and depth to the environment in which he grew up. His commitment to the area he calls home is exemplified by his volunteer work, teaching kids from various slums in Nairobi, including Mukuru, kwa Njenga, and Kibera. Adam has been developing his unique styles over the past 10 years. His experience, talent, and generosity have given rise to several other area artists through his creation of the Mukuru Art Collective. The Mukuru Art Collective is a young visual arts collective in South B, Nairobi, founded in 2010 by Adam. Then referred to as Mukuru Art Club, Adam aimed at engaging young kids from the slum with arts during their unsupervised time. Given the vices abundant in slums and most troubled areas, with drugs and crime prevalent among children and teenagers, these weekend art classes went a long way in keeping them engaged. The art club eventually grew to a visual arts collective built around the children who grew up and had an interest in pursuing fine art professionally. The vision of Mukuru Art Collective is to grow to become a multidisciplinary art center, incorporating all mannerisms of the arts, including performance and visual, and also more avant-garde approaches to art practice. The Art Collective is also interested in supporting the sports, especially local football academies, with the aim of identifying more hidden talents in the community. Please join me in welcoming our guest speaker, Mr. Adam Masava.
School governors, teachers, students, guests, and fellow artists, good morning. As he has introduced me, my name is Adam Masava. I'm a professional artist, motivational speaker, and art educator. Thank you so much. It's a big honor for me to be standing in front of you beautiful people this morning to celebrate with you. So as he has said, I grew up in Mukuru Slum. Mukuru Slum is in Nairobi, and the easiest way to say where it's located is on your way to the airport. My students have been, and some of my colleagues, I have them here, 8 of them have been mocking and mimicking me like I speak with my hands. So if you see a lot of gestures, please pardon me. Anyways, I'm a firstborn of a family of 3 siblings, 2 brothers and 1 sister. And our house or our room was really small. Me and my siblings, we used to call it self-confused room instead of self-contained room. So I remember very well, we used to have a bed for my parents, and it was cut across with a curtain. And then myself, my younger brother and dad, we used to put a piece of mattress on the floor to sleep. Then we had a small kitchen where my mom used to cook delicious meals whenever they could afford them. And I'll get to that in a moment. But these rainy seasons remind me of some calamities that we used to face when we were kids. And one of them was like when we were sleeping, the rainwater would creep into our room and we'd wake up in a swimming pool. So we learned swimming at early tender age. So we used to lean on the walls in order to sleep. And the next chapter is education. So for me, what took me to school was not to learn, but rather because we were given food. And this food was given or supported by the World Food Program through their school feeding project. And so I went to the school, and being in the school, I remember the World Food Program introduced a competition for kids around the world who are benefiting with the project art-wise. So I participated in that competition, and thank God, I won first prize in Africa. It's going to get better in a moment, so hold on. So I was a naughty student, and I'm not telling you, any of you, to become naughty, but rather I used to be in a lot of problems and trouble. And so one morning on Monday, on our school assembly, I had my name called by the head teacher. She had already located me, so I tried to duck down in order to hide, but she pointed where I was, like, Adam, please come. So I went asking myself, what have I done? I tried to remember. Friday was okay. Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, Sunday, I went to swim in a dam that was forbidden, so I thought maybe they found out. So I went there, I was shaking, and then she asked the whole school to clap for me. Then I was like, did I win an Olympic gold for swimming? Then she announced that I was the world competition winner for that project. Yeah. So I had a lot of praises from teachers, especially our art teacher. We used to have a very good art teacher who said I had talent. And from that moment, I realized that, yes, if I have conquered the world, I'm really good in art. So I started like being very serious. I used to win all the competitions around Kenya, the Kiwi ones, the blah, blah, blah ones. I can't remember their names. But then, so after school, I took my result slip to my dad. And before I say that, my parents were uneducated. They immigrated from the rural area to Nairobi for greener pastures. And so my dad took my result slip, he looked at it and said, wow, very good. So go find a job, come and support the family. I was a kid, I was like, Dad, I'm just 14, what's up? And he just ignored me and watched his news. And I became really depressed for 3 months because everyone else was going to school. My fellow guys who had finished primary school were going to high school. So I was left alone at home. So I stayed in our room, the self-contained room, and we used to have a small black and white TV with red cover, the Great Wall. For you old enough can remember those. And I used to tune like on the TV program, the Cartoon Networks, the music and everything. So I would watch all those. And then there came a time that I said, I have to do something with my life because staying at home, being depressed is not helping me. So I went out. On our way to school, there was a place, we used to call that place Ma-Pepa. So Ma-Pepa is a slang name for papers. So that's a place where they dumped rejected newspaper. And so I went there. I used to look like a madman or a mad boy because what I did is I would create an area where I would lie down with a pillow, take some newspaper and read. And I was studying and looking at the pictures, cutting them out for me to go and sketch. So luckily, someday they introduced paint, rejected paint as well. They threw their rejected paint. So I would take different tins of certain colors and drain them into bottles. And if you watched me in a distance, I really looked like a mad boy because what was I doing? And then after that, I would take the paint, go back to the slum and do some murals. And then one day somebody said, I see you painting, you're good. Can you come and do some paintings on my shop? I'll give you some money. I said, of course. So I went there. It was a small hairdressing shop. So I did really nice portraits with nice braids and whatever they offered, the services. And she gave me like 120 shillings. I was so happy. So instantly I became a celebrity in the whole slum. Everyone wanted to hire me. So I would get these small jobs every day. And then I used to go every morning to that place. And the owner of that place saw me and he was like, come here, young boy. What do you always do there? So I explained what I was doing. And he said, we thought maybe you are crazy. I said, no, I'm perfectly and mentally stable. So he asked me, can I give you some job? And if you do a good job, I'll pay you with a lot of paint. I said, of course. So he gave me a big wall to brand his business. I did that. And they were amazed. They gave me a lot of paint. And so I could now take bigger jobs in the shopping center. And then with these jobs, my dad's words came true, like go out, find a job and support the family. So whatever I got, I used to bring back, do some shopping, pay house rent and other stuff that were needed in my household. So one day I got a very big gig. So I climbed like ladders to paint and my friend found me there and said, he started laughing at me and he said, calm down, Adam. I said, you're wasting your time here. Come with me to a better place where you can earn much more. So the next morning I went with him. There was a place which was run by Sisters of Mercy and they had a project called MSDP. So MSDP stands for Mukuru Slum Development Project, where they offered things to develop young people and women around the slums. So I joined the art space, and they offered a lot of very good, expensive materials, and then they used to sell our work. So my first day, I found them doing paper mache. So I did like big trays, then I painted them. And just the moment I finished, some guests came in from Ireland, and the old nun, may God rest her soul in peace, she came and took my work and said, we have guests, I think they would be interested in your work. So she went over, came back, and gave me like $70. So imagine graduating, yeah. So I was earning, the most I would earn was $5, and now I had graduated to $70. This money was given to me in Kenya shillings, and I went to the toilet to count it. And whenever I have a lot of money, some kind of paranoia kicks in. We'll get to that. And so after counting, I was like, maybe the old nun doesn't know how, maybe she gave me a lot more. So I went back. I thought she was testing me. So I went back and said, excuse me, sister, I think you gave me quite a lot. She said, how much? I said, 7,000 Kenya shillings. She said, yeah, that's all your money. Please don't spend it in one place. I took it, went home that evening. I gave that money to my grandma and mom, and immediately they ganged up on me and started beating me like crazy. And the reason why they were doing that is because during that time, there were a lot of criminal activities, and most of them were done by young people. So what they thought was like I joined a criminal gang, and that's why I have a lot of money. So I said, please, 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 cease fire, cease fire. I pleaded with them and said, like, tomorrow morning I'll take you where I got this money. If my story doesn't check, you can go ahead and kill me. And my mom warned me, I would rather kill you myself instead of the police killing you. I said, okay. So we went there. The next morning, the sister came. I said, Sister Lori, please meet my mom. And she was like so happy to meet my mom. And she said, your son is really talented. And yesterday he sold a couple of paintings. Did he share some money with you? And my mom's face was like, we almost killed you. Why you didn't say? I said, but I told you. Anyways, my mom was happy. She said, my son, continue with your work. God bless you. And she left to go to her work. So fast forward, my younger brother is a very talented footballer. He played for Kenya national team for a lot of years. He scored a lot of goals, gave assists to some strikers in the Kenya national team. So in 2006, he signed a professional contract with the Czech Republic club. So within a blink of an eye, our life changed from extreme poverty to middle class. So me and my brother used to make a lot of jokes, practical jokes. And one of the joke was, and please, no offense to white folks. So me and my brother used to say, white people speak with their nose. So like, hey, how are you? How can I help you? And so I received an international call, and when I picked it, I had someone speaking the same way me and my brother used to speak, but with an accent. So I was like, I said in Swahili, bro, wacha ujinga, najua ni wewe. Hautaniget. So to translate was like, bro, stop kidding, I know it's you, you will not get me. So jokes in Swahili will not translate into English as funny. Excuse me for that. But anyways, the president said, hey, Patrick, your brother doesn't speak English. He's speaking to me in a strange African language. Can you come and translate? My brother grabbed the phone and he was angry. He said, bro, stop it. This is the club president. Please talk to him. He has some good news. So I said, oh, I'm sorry. So I spoke to him and he said, Adam, we've liked your story and your work. we would like to invite you to Czech Republic to come and do an exhibition. I said, what did you say? He repeated. I think the phone call ended right there because I ran everywhere like crazy screaming because it was my dream to go to Europe and do an exhibition. So I went to Europe. Before going, I had a roller coaster ride trying to get my passport. The Nyayo house, the yellow house, I fear it because they disturbed me so much. But anyways, I got my passport. I went to Europe. I was walking around. My neck would hurt at night because I was like this every time. You know, it was very developed. And there was a British guy playing in the same team with my brother, and he said, he should come to London. If you think this is developed, this is nothing compared to London. I said, no, this is okay. And then, so my exhibition day came, and the same day was my brother's team play. I went to the VIP box. I had a Czech guy translating stuff for me because in Czech Republic, mostly they speak their language. And so the match started. They were losing 2-0 in the first half. My brother was sitting on the bench, and the guy said, it's not a good sign for your exhibition. They are losing. So I was praying so hard, please God, help this team to equalize, and just a draw would be enough. So my brother started warming up, and my heart started warming up as well because I trusted his capabilities. He was introduced, and they spoke like their Czech Republic language, Patrick Oboya. So, so Patrick came in and he waved at me. Then I said, go get them, bro. And within 15 minutes, he had scored 2 goals. And then I thought like I had asked God for enough, but we are always selfish. So I said, God, please help the team to just score 1 more so that they can win. So my brother assisted 2 more goals. They won 4-2. Then I started seeing my name on the screens. So I asked the guy, what's up? He said, oh, they are advertising your show. And after the exhibition, after the game, I didn't even have time to go back to my brother's house to get a nice suit. I had to wear his jersey. And he said, no, you're fine. Let's go to the exhibition because everyone is really excited. They're heading there. So the place was really packed. If you have ever been to the second-hand market, Gikomba, it's always packed. And so these guys were like really packed in the place. Within an hour, they had bought everything. So when my day to come back home arrived, I was given a big stack of money. So my paranoia immediately kicked in. In the plane, I was lucky. There was nobody sitting next to me. So the air hostesses, when they came to me to ask me if I would eat, I was like, no. Actually, the money, I took it and put it in a bag. Then it had like a strap, so I put it inside. And the whole time I sat like this. And everyone at the air hostesses thought I had a stomach problem, said they would bother me like, are you okay, sir? I said, yeah, I'm fine. And they asked me if I would like to eat. I said, no. In my head, I thought they want to poison me and get my money. So mid-flight, I started thinking like one of my biggest dreams was to do a show in Europe, to visit Europe and do a show. I had achieved that. I thought now I should dream bigger. Then the other thing was like, I was writing notes, like I should give, you know, guys, all of you know about the black tax. If you get money, it's not only yours, it's a community-owned money. So I was like thinking, I'll give this to my grandma, my uncle, my aunt, my friends, blah, 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 blah. Then I still had like a lot. So I thought like, what can I do to change my community? What should I do for this blessing to trickle down? So I thought, let me go, when I go home, I'll start teaching children. So I bought a lot of art supplies and I did some really nice handmade posters that I stuck around the slum to invite kids and their parents to come for interviews for them to learn art from me. Guess what? I think the whole slum showed up. I had over 200 kids showing up. And so for me, I'm that person that gives everybody a chance. So I said, okay, guys, let's get the tables and the seats out. We'll work inside. So everyone was lying on the floor, trying to draw. And then I thought, like, this is not impactful. So I trimmed the class into 100. 100 was still a lot. I trimmed it to 80. It was still a lot. So I went down to 40. 40 was really manageable, and I could give my best to each student and monitor them. So I did these classes for 3 months. Then after 3 months, those kids would graduate. And by graduating, I means we would do a small ceremony. This is really big. A small one with some finger foods. Then we would give them certificates. And then we would initiate another group into the program. So I did that. And then I realized that there were a lot of talents with these children. And some of them who are really talented would still come back even after graduating and just stick around the school. So I thought like it would be good to absorb them into the class, and some of them started helping me teaching and monitoring the other kids' work. And then I brought them into my studio. It was a tiny studio. And of course, one of them is here. His name is Vincent Kimeu. If you guys come later, you will meet him. I remember he destroyed one of my friend's painting. So my friend had painted a portrait, and he thought the lips were not red enough. So he took red paint and painted them red. And so these are some of the challenges that we had in the studio. Some of them would paint and then just wipe their hands on our finished paintings, then hide them. But anyways, so these kids were really talented because I could see during the progressive workshops, they would do really well. So whenever I got some exhibitions, solo exhibitions, I would take some of their work. I would plead with the curators and gallery owners, like, I do this on the sides, and I feel like it's really important for people not just to focus on my work, but also to see the kids' work. Then those kids' work were really interesting. People wanted to buy them. You know, you're not allowed to motivate children with money. But anyway, we sold the work. Then I had a meeting with some of their parents and asked them, like, your kids are really talented. We've sold some of their work. Do you want us to still keep selling their work? They all voted with a landslide, yes. So I would give that money to the parents, and then the parents would do whatever they think was good for the money. And so for me, I thought like, it's not good enough. So what we did is we came up with like 3 ways of using this money. One way was to pay high school fees for these kids. Second way was that money would support the families, like pay rent, do shoppings, or whatever needs they have. And then finally, would give some money to the kids, very tiny percentage, which was really big as well. You know, young people have their Nikes, Adidas. Some of these kids only eat chicken during Christmas. So with this money, they can buy their chicken and pizza and stuff. And so from there, that's when Mukuru Art Collective was born. So what is Mukuru Art Collective? Mukuru Art Collective is, first of all, we named our project Mukuru Art Collective to give a good name to the slum, because slums are stereotyped. And Mukuru is one of the slums that when people hear about that name, it's only because of negative stuff. Like right now, when you look at the news, the floods, Mukuru is mentioned so many times. And right now, I saw on the news like they are demolishing houses next to the river. There's a project we are going to do with a UK-based organization, and it's about climate justice. And we did a research on the river, how climate change is affecting the slum. And I was really sad, like the government has not done something, especially on the riverbanks, because the houses are really next to the river. And now it's good, as much as it's sad, like they are moving them on higher grounds, it's also good because we don't want to lose people. And so we had to name our project Mukuru Art Collective so that we give a good impression to the slum. And also we want to become positive people and responsible people carrying that flag. So most of our students and members are talented. They do very good work. They are focused. And us guys, we're trying to give opportunity to young people so that if they would like to become artists in future, they can go through the process and become artists. We have very, very talented boys and girls who are focused, doing their work. And now the project was supposed to use their unsupervised time in a positive way to make them stay out of trouble. But money brings a lot of trouble to young people. These guys earn double or triple the amount their parents would earn working very hard. So what do? It brings challenges of drug abuse and irresponsible young people. So for me, I'm very strict and I want them to be successful because their success will be a direct reflection for me and to me. And if they fail, all the accusing fingers will be pointed to me. So what we do is I asked every member who starts selling their work to go and open a couple of bank accounts. One of them is a fixed account. The other account is a normal account where they can withdraw cash with their ATM and do some few things. So the fixed account, 50% of whatever they get has to be banked in that account. And then every year, every end of year, we have to sit down with their bank statements and have a look at what they've managed to save. And if anyone wants to withdraw more than 10,000 Kenya shillings from that account, they have to come to me and ask for permission. Some of them would come and say, oh, I saw some new J's, I want to get those shoes. I say, sneaker is not, it should not be a reason why you should get money from this account. So that's like no goes on. So in the end, we're trying to build responsible young people. And with these earnings that they get now, when they get to their 30s, they would at least have money to purchase land and build their foundation. And that's our focus right now. And we don't want to have young people who get money and misuse it. We want them to be responsible. And thank God, the 40 members we have are very responsible and they are helping their families and helping themselves. And I've noticed through talking to some of the students here, you guys are very confident. I know the school structure helps you attain that. And most of you are doing a lot of projects to support the society, which is really important. There was a young girl I was speaking to, Sarah, big up yourself. Sarah told me she has a tournament that she runs. Ah, there you are. Yeah, and it's really nice that you do that. And I'm really happy that this school is a family. And the extension of the family has us as Mukuru Art Collective coming here to do art in residence, which is building us so much. We have we've had like 5 or 6 cycles of 2 artists who come here every term to work with the students. And it's building very good foundation for them. Some of them are finding out they could become teachers. Their confidence and their engagement with students is growing up. And we are so happy and pleased that the school has given us this opportunity to be able to come here and work together with you. And finally, we have some of our work today here. We have the 3rd tent on your right-hand side, which we have some of our work. And also at the hub, we also have some of them. So you guys, if you have time, by there and see some of our work, interact with the artists, and then would see if you think the work is good. If it's not good enough, just tell us. And finally, I wish you all the best. And I thank God so much for this opportunity to meet all of you, to have this speech. It's a big honor for me. And we hope to continue with the partnership with the school. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
I think I speak for us all when I say that it's not every day that we have that level of insight and inspiration. So on behalf of everyone here, I will just say thank you. So after those speeches, we're now going to take a short break, and we will be treated, before we have our first set of subject prizes, we'll be treated to a musical item from Mr. Levi and the orchestra, the Avengers theme. Thank you very much to Mr. Levi and the orchestra. We are going to begin our subject prizes very shortly. So I will call up a group at a time. I will begin, first of all, with our Year 11 junior subject prizes. These are students who are coming to the end of their GCSE course. So I'm going to ask if Adam can join and hand out the prizes. And I'll call these up in groups. So first of all, we'll go through all the subject prizes, and we'll begin with all the subject prizes from art to further mathematics. These are done alphabetically. As before, what I will do is I'll ask all of the subjects prize winners to come up on stage, and once they're all up on stage, we'll give them all a round of applause. I'll mention some of the other nominations of people who are not on stage, and then I'll also be clear about who the winner is for each subject. So Year 11 Junior Subject Prizes, beginning with art. There are nominations for Devika Eli, and the winner for art this year is Nina Karui. And as she comes up to accept, I'll ask that we hold our applause until everyone is on stage. So congratulations to Nina. And for biology, commendations for Teniola and Jonathan, and our winner in biology this year is Ellie Gill. As we move on to business studies, we have commendations for Jacob and Christina. And our winner this year for business studies in Year 11 is Jonathan Ahumuza. As we think about chemistry, we have commendations for Samuel and Jonathan. And top in Year 11 this year for chemistry is Ivainesu Mutasa. For computing, we have a commendation for TK, but top in Year 11 this year goes to Andrew Ohonde for computing. Design technology, we have commendations for Zora and Jacob, but top in year this year for design technology is Enoch Omunu. For drama, we have commendations for Ronia, but top in year 11 for drama is Bathsheba Kint. For economics, we have nominations for Matthew and Judy, but top in year 11 for economics is Megan Kamau. Then as we move to English language, we have commendations for Teniola and Christina, but top in year 11 for English language is Ellie Gill. For English literature, we have commendations for Jonathan and Ellie, but for top in year, that goes to Ivainesu Mutasa. In French, we have commendations for Samuel and Turamie, and top in year goes to Megan Kamau. And then for further mathematics, we have commendations for Samuel and Michaela, and top in year goes to Ellie Gill. And I should also say that as well as getting top in year for further mathematics, Ellie has also been awarded this year with the Chris Ndegwa Trophy for Maths, which is a great achievement. And I'm going to invite now all of our prize winners to give their best smiles, and let's give them all a huge round of applause. And as they make their way down, and the next set of prize winners get ready to come up, there will be one or two doing a speedy walk across the front. And so I'll pause for a moment just to say, these are fantastic accolades. I'm also very aware that there are people who push them so close. And I could mention many names, but one name I will mention is Michaela Olobo, who just got pipped in many, many subjects. And so for Michaela and other students who just missed out this morning, I want us all to give them a huge round of applause. I'll just give a subtle point to the students who need to join up front. And so as we come to our second set of Year 11 Junior Subject Prizes, these will run from Geography up to Spanish before we announce the Swinton Science Cup. And first of all, we have for Geography commendations for Matthew and Enoch, but top in year is for Ivainesu Mutasa. And as we move on to German, commendations for Devika and Ida, but top in year goes to Teniola Havi. For History, commendations for Ivainesu and Kanyis. For ICT, commendation for Christina, and then top in year goes to Enoch Omunu. For mathematics, top in commendations for Jonathan and Ellie, and top in year goes to Samuel Murungi. And I should say they have sat their GCSE, and they did this in November, some of our students, and he did get full marks, which is a really incredible achievement. So well done to Samuel. For music, commendations for Kanyasile and Judy, and top in year goes to Ida Karich. For physical education, commendations for Zora and Matthew, and top in year goes to Turamie Kipto. Commendations for Kanyisile and Ivanesu, and top in year goes to Megan Kamau. For real studies, commendations for Michelle and Imbwana, and top in year goes to Kanyisile Sitole. For sociology, we have commendations for Ida and Ivanesu, and top in year goes for sociology goes to Judy Niero. And for our last of our subject prizes, for Spanish, we have a commendation for Erin, and top in year goes to Bathsheba Kint. And I'm going to ask once more, for the last time for our year 11s, that they stand forward with their prizes. They give us a big smile, and we give them a huge round of applause. Well done to the year 11s, and we will now move on to the year 13s, who will start to line up on the left, and we will do likewise. We'll begin with the first set of prizes from art until further maths. And of course, these are our students who will be leaving us. And there will be some other special awards that will be going to some of our year 13s. But for now, we'll begin with the subject prizes. And so first of all, we begin with art, and a commendation to Rosaline, but for top in year this year goes to Tendo Mugisha. And then for biology, we have commendations to Sarah and Kendra, but top in year goes to Lisa Wabugwa. For business studies, we have commendations for Brian and Stacy. Top in year 13 this year goes to Christine Gitau. For chemistry, we have commendations for Lisa and Sarah, and top in year goes to Kendra Kater. For computing, we have a commendation for Jonathan, and top in year goes to Dagvin Shalal. For design technology, we have commendations going to Tiana and Tyra, and the top in year for design technology goes to Mary Martha Sazi. For drama, we have a commendation for Betty, and top in year 13 drama goes to Sarah Odera. For economics, we have commendations for Nicolette and Karani, and top in year 13 economics is Ivana Umujoro. For English literature, commendations for Helen and Nicolette, and top in year 13 English literature is Karani Munya. And for French, we have a commendation for Laomi, and top in year 13 French goes to Ivana Umojoro. And last, but certainly not least, for further mathematics, the award this year goes to Olua Tobiloba Ogunleye. And as he is our final prize winner for this first half, I'm going to invite them once more to step forward. You can appreciate them all. Well done, year 13s. And again, as we are calling up the subject prize winners from geography to sociology, and I will give just a moment. I will give them just a moment for them to walk around, for any who are doing a repeat run through. And for the final year 13 subject prizes, these will go from geography to sociology. And so beginning with geography, we have a commendation for Jamie, and then the top in year goes to Lisa Wabugwa. For history, we have commendations for Shiru and Chembo, and top in year 13 goes to Sunita Mathaya. For ICT, we have a commendation for Jeremy, and top in year 13 goes to Pierre Muhira. For mathematics, commendations for Ivana and Jukia, and top in year 13 goes to Kendra Kater. For music, the award for year 13 this year goes to Sunita Mathaya. For physical education, commendations for Talia and Jamie, and top in year 13 this year goes to Sarah Karich. For physics, we have commendations for Rosaline and Tobiloba, and top in year 13 physics goes to Njukia Kihara. For psychology in year 13, this year the top in year goes to Shiru Maina. For religious studies, this year top in year 13 goes to Jesse Mburu. And last but not least, for sociology, we have commendations for Stacy, for Kelly, and top in year 13 goes to Karaoni Munya. And once again, these will be our last subject prizes for the year 13s. So I'll invite them to step forward their prizes. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Congratulations, year 13s. And before we have our final musical item this morning, You Raise Me Up, we will now be moving on to the awards which are not named on the program. And so I will do one now before Mr. Pennington does the rest after the TLA awards. And this year, the Swinton Science Cup, which is awarded to the student who is best in science across year 11. This year, the award goes to Jonathan Ahumuza. So well done, Jonathan. Come up and... So well done to Jonathan. He will collect his prize. We will have the musical items shortly. And I'm told to remind students in particular, please don't leave the tent, because then we'll be going into the TLA awards. But let's give awards to Jonathan. And now to Mr. Levi and the orchestra, You Raise Me Up. Thank you very much to Mr. Levi and the orchestra, not just for the performance, but for all the practices that have gone in before that. We'll now move to the part of our program which will see us have every single Year 13 on stage at one point or another as we hand out the awards connected to the Turi Leadership Award, which is run by Mrs. Jean-Louis. For those of you who are not aware, the Turi Leadership Award is connected to our mission to build and mold the next generation of leaders of integrity and vision in Africa and beyond. It is a rigorous 2-year course to be undertaken by students in the Sixth Form College. The program has independent assessment points where students' performances as leaders are assessed both internally and externally, one of which is the accrediting body Emerging Leaders Foundation. It's assessed against clear and challenging attainment criteria, and this morning we congratulate them on their achievement in this award. So I'm going to call up 3 groups of students, and the first group will come up and they will line up on stage either side of me, those who are awarded with participation and pass. So for those awarded with participation, and we'll clap once they're all up on stage again, thank you. For those awarded participation, Laomi Adetukbo, Jonathan Otafire, Olutobiloba Ogunleye, and the rest on stage will be awarded with pass. And I should pause for a moment to thank not just Ms. Jean-Louis, but all the members of staff who've been involved with this, and a number of tutors in Year 13 and other members of staff who've helped. And so as we moved to those who are awarded Turi Leadership Award with pass, we congratulate Alistair Auld, Amir Awale, Jade Balieku, Tapi Chuma, Helen Fuambe, Mark Karanja, Geoffrey Koech, Denise Kogere, Toby Falua Kola Lawal, and then on my left will be Betty Kunyada, and Nicolette Miner, Tinai Matereke, Ninye Mugambi, Evita Mujira, Pierre Muhirwa, Brian Nioto, David Othiambo, Ryan Oduor, Victoria Okwako, and last but not least, Tiana Kiboro. And once they're all up on stage, we'll join together in giving them a huge round of applause for their certificates. And now to our next group of Year 13 students. These have all been awarded with merit. And so once again, we'll wait until they're all up on stage before we clap them. And so our first, going in alphabetical order, goes to Stacey Bett. We also recognize Chembo Chanda and Dagfin Jalal, Christine Gitau, Talia Harel, Victoria Hobokela, Sarah Karich, Njukia Kihara, Kendi Karimi, Malachi Kirui, Kidiavai Luvai, Jesse Mburu, Tendo Mugisha, Jason Mulunge, Karani Munya, Kelly Maturi, Natalie Njiroge, Johanna Nketia, Jeremy Obiero, Tyra Odeni, Sarah Odera, Jeremy Opare, Mary Martha Sazi, Ivana Umujoro, Lisa Wabugwa, and last but not least, Rosaline Wayera. And I'll just want to pause to say to get a Merit in TLA award is really superb. So let's join together and give them a huge round of applause. And as they begin to take their seats, it is time to call up our final group. And this is a smaller group of 5 students who are awarded with the highest honor of distinction. And as I mentioned in the introduction, this came about from all sorts of assessments, from their leadership in service, in their ability to write in essays and communicate in interviews. And so they've really done incredibly well to get this. And so I invite the 5 of them to come stand on stage, and then we'll give them a round of applause. First of all, to Samuel Birech. And then to Jamie Jean-Louis. And next, Kendra Keter. And then we have Shiru Maina. And last of all, Sunita Mathaya. And as we look at these 5 students on stage, I know that their peers will agree how much they've put in, but as will the other teachers, and also as all of us, let's join together and give them a huge round of applause. And so as they take their seats, I will be handing over now to Mr. Pennington for the special prizes, which will largely be to Year 13 students, but they do not know who's going to collect them. So I'm sure they'll enjoy the surprise, and you can clap after each one. Mr. Pennington.
Yeah, the gloves are off on this one. You're very well behaved, kind of waiting for applause. But these ones you can do each one individually, and I expect the roof to come off for the noise for each one, because the students don't know who's getting these special prizes. Well, apart from the head boy and girl, they kind of know which ones they're getting. So we'll start without any further ado. First of all, the Susan Mucheku Memorial Trophy for Drama this year goes to Sarah Odera. I thought that tame. I think it could be louder than that. There we go. The bar is set. So the school award for contribution to music this year goes to Kidia Avai Levi. The Charania Sportsman of the Year, Jamie Jean-Louis. The Mark B Sportswoman of the Year, Talia Harrell. The next award is a new award this year. It's the Batian Adventure Prize. It's awarded for outstanding leadership in the adventure program, mainly on Saturday mornings in leading the main school. And so the first winner of this award ever is Tyrell Odiambo. The Fallon Kendi Memorial Award, that's awarded to the best all-rounder from year 11, goes to Eleanor Gill. The Turi Governors Award for academic achievement, that's awarded for the best all-round record of academic achievement, goes to Ivana Munjoro. The Caripio Service Heart Award is awarded for selfless and loyal service to others to ensure the success of school events. And this year is awarded to Mary Martha Sazi. Is awarded to Jesse Mburu. The Turi Leadership Award Cup is awarded for the best overall performance in the Turi leadership people who were up here a moment ago. Usually, this is awarded to one person. Unfortunately, or fortunately this year, we were unable to split two people who achieved distinctions in all but one facet of the Turi Leadership Award. So this year, the award is shared between Kendra Kater and Jamie Jean-Louis. Not quite done. The Liz Long Cup is a headmaster's prize. It's awarded to the student who most positively fulfills the role of ambassador for St Andrew's School, Turi. And I can personally say it isn't just one person, but we have to award it to one person. And this year it goes to Kidia Avai Levi. And so the least surprising prizes today, the Headmaster's Award for Head Boy, Jamie Jean-Louis. And the Headmaster's Award for Head Girl, Kendra Kater. Now, before I hand over to Jamie and Kendra for their speeches, I just want to say a public thank you to both of you for the service you've given the school. You've been true embodiments of serving to lead, and the school is a far better place now, the fact you two have both been at the front of the school. So please, as they come up now to give a speech, please show them support and get ready for the bit you've all really been waiting for, is the head boy and girl speech.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Having been in Turi for 13 years, rumor has it that I was born in the medical center. To clarify, I was actually born in a hospital. Through the many experiences I've had during my time here, I pondered, what could I deliver today that could provide you with a takeaway that you'd hopefully apply into your life? And one word simply stuck to my mind: change. It's a word that holds immense power, capable of stirring emotions, ranging from excitement to fear, anticipation to reluctance, and yet, despite its often unpredictable nature, change is an undeniable constant in our lives. Now, it's quite ironic that I talk about change when I've been in the same school for 13 years. Nevertheless, all of us have experienced it here. Whether it's been moving to new schools, experiencing career insecurities, or, to my fellow year group, the world in which you'll enter in a few months. While change may sometimes feel like a force beyond our control, it is in the way in which we act that will determine our future. Think back to a time in your life when change came knocking at your door. Perhaps it was the beginning of something new, a fresh start brimming with excitement and possibility, yet tinged with the uncertainty of the unknown. In those moments of transition, it can be too easy to resist change, to cling desperately to the comfort of familiarity. Believe me when I say this, there are very few things I love more than the comfort of my bed. But I challenge you to consider this. What if, instead of resisting change, We embraced it. What if we removed the covers from our bed and stepped out into the cold? What if we saw change not as a threat to be feared, but as an opportunity to be seized? I came across a phrase, be a pivot in your life, a few months back, and it spoke about being able to adapt and change direction when circumstance require it. Being willing to embrace new opportunities, even if they deviate from original plans or expectations. If you haven't heard enough of football today, well, be prepared. This made me think about a pivot position in football. Being a lover of football, there's no way I could go through this whole speech without talking about it. Although this could change if Arsenal don't win the league. The famous number 6 position in football is not always talked about. The players who play this role will never make the headlines of the news, and very rarely will they get recognition at all. Sergio Busquets, for those who haven't heard of him or seen him, to put it simply, does not look like he belongs on a football pitch. You see, Busquets' ability doesn't really necessarily lie in his physical capabilities, but in his ability to think clearly when he has opponents rushing at him. Charles Darwin said, "It's not the strongest of species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It's the one that's most adaptable to change." And I think this encapsulates Busquets wonderfully. His ability to shift position or change direction when circumstances require it shows why he's one of the best in the game. I've come to understand the meaning of embracing change and not running from it this year especially. My name and who I was. I can tell you now that no words were said on that stage. Unfortunately, this Achilles heel stayed with me. I've never been truly comfortable speaking in front of large audiences. Taking up the head boy role meant that I'd have to face this challenge, as you can see me standing here today. I had to adapt to it. I had to accept there'd be mistakes, the wrong pauses as I gathered my thoughts, but this was all the process of change. And that's what I think is key to embracing it. Having a mindset upon yourself, your business, or whatever you do as a work in progress. There are going to be mistakes down the line, and accepting that you'll have space for improvement will be key to ensuring that you can get through those moments. And of course, in those moments, you're always going to need people to fall on. To my parents, thank you for your unwavering support. I would not be the person I am today without you. The tallest buildings will always have the strongest foundation, and you have set the base for me to grow. Whether it's been listening to reggae with dad in the car, or the math lessons with mom where I had no clue what was going on, I thank you. To my sister and friends, for always pushing me to be the best version of myself, whether it's been trying to beat Dagfin, the best defender in the school. He paid me to say that. I'm gonna need my money. I'm grateful for every single one of you for always putting a smile on my face. My journey throughout Turi has been special. I have fought, experienced, and finally embraced change. As my time here slowly comes to an end, I can look back and say that change is a beautiful process. I challenge you all to be a pivot in your life, to learn, to accept, and embrace change. As I finish, I'd like to repeat one of my favorite quotes from Daniel Ricciardo. Enjoy the butterflies, enjoy being naive, enjoy the nerves, the pressure, people not knowing your name, because that's part of it. I think if you want to stand from the top from day one, then there's nothing to look forward to.
Parents, guests, Bacham and Bomari, those are my grandparents, by the way. Morning. I see it only fit to preface my speech by saying two things. Firstly, as you have all seen, I'm a very STEM-based person, so please be prepared for a bunch of psychological references. And secondly, as we can all see, it is flu season, so I apologize for my coughs and sniffles in this speech. 9 years ago, a few of us, like Jamie, were already in this school. Some were facing the same challenges they do now, but most were in a completely different place with a completely different mindset. Personally, 9 years ago, and 8-year-old me was writing one of my first ever articles for my prep school's yearbook, titled In the Year 2025. You can see it over there. In the year 2025, I will be 20. I hope to see myself standing in a big hall accepting my graduation certificate. I want to be helping all kinds of animals and be a vet. I will treat dogs, cats, hamsters, guinea pigs, mice, and even wild animals. I will be living in America, but then I want to come back to Kenya and run for president. I want to sit in State House with the governors and senators. I want to be with my vice president and stay there for 4 years. There will be flying cars, and people over 18 will be able to run for president. There will also be 80 different kinds of planes in Kenya. And for anyone who was in Kavina school back in 2015, you'll find that piece tucked away towards the end of the magazine. Being realistic, it's not looking like I'll be running for president anytime soon. And I'm pretty sure the closest we've gotten to flying cars are Teslas, which are quite the disappointment. 8-year-old me would probably be upset to see that I'm not going to veterinary school and that I developed a fear of 95% of the wild animals I see as a result of being chased by monkeys a few years ago. But still, I can't judge 8-year-old me for writing all of this. After all, those were my hopes and dreams at that point of my life. However, in truth, I think we can all agree that the future never turns out exactly how we think it will. 90% of our hopes and dreams remain mere hopes and dreams. One explanation of dreams, a slightly absurd theory, not scientifically tried and tested, is the theory of the unconscious mind, the id, ego, and superego. The id is regarded as the demanding part of our unconscious minds that disregards anything except from its desires, whose only goal is to fulfill its needs. The superego is a distinct opposite, serving as a moral compass to those conscious, awake, like we all are. The ego and superego are most prominent. But once we fall asleep, once we begin to dream, our id takes over. To most, it doesn't seem like the best idea to be governed by our selfish thoughts. And to a certain extent, I agree. But overall, I challenge that opinion. Without a degree of selfishness, of motivation to do what we want to do, how would any of us ever succeed? And hence, I argue that these crazy dreams that I had for my future were my id trying to creep into my conscious mind. And the failure to achieve most of these crazy dreams was my ego and superego, drawing me back into reality. However, without the id, the greed, the hunger to succeed, where would any of us be but trapped in the everyday mundane routine that the world presents? However, the other theory of where dreams come from, the biological theory, states that dreams are a result of random firing of neurotransmitters, chemicals, inside the brain. This process focuses on connecting newly formed memories in our short-term memory store to memories and ideas previously embedded into our long-term memory store. Basically, the content and significance of our dream, whether you're dreaming about being chased by monkeys like I did, or anything else, is decided by the balance between the concrete strength of our long-term memory store and the irregularity of the neurotransmitters. So, and I hope everyone can relate to this. You know those moments when you're enjoying your dream and then you wake up in the middle of it and you try your hardest to go back to that exact dream, that very moment, but 90% of the time you can't? Well, that isn't a coincidence. In fact, it can be argued that if it's a right dream at the right time, with a right balance between the long-term memory store and the short-term memory store, you will go back to that dream. And if not, it just wasn't meant to progress. It was merely meant to be left hanging. I hope you're trying to see where I'm getting with this. If you have a goal, a dream, or a vision, and you're doing everything in your power to achieve it, and it just doesn't come to pass, there's no point lying on your bed and hoping that one day it will work out. And no, I'm not telling everyone to simply stop trying after the first failed attempt or to give up because there's been a change in your path. I'm encouraging everyone to not let themselves get held back by what ifs, because if you do, you may end up missing the next great opportunity right in front of you. And as the wise Sunita says, current disappointment is a setup for further success. So, the advice I'd give to everyone, which I learned especially during my time as head girl, is that every time that you're faced with grave change, every time you feel you fail to achieve your past dreams, every time a door in your life closes, another will open. Pry the previous door open, trying to fall asleep back to that very same dream. Allow yourself to leave what you know, and you may well end up in a much better place or a much more enjoyable dream than you were in before. And further, with a right support system, as much as you will be in a completely different room, I assure you, you will not be a completely different person. Leaving the school, leaving this year as head girl, I'm expecting to receive a label of sorts. My mom, hi mom, would likely want me to be labeled as the academic. Granted, I always got it from her. My brothers and dad would probably prefer the more rounded approach and would like me to be remembered as the head girl that did sports and music on top of it all. And my grandparents, well, they're probably just content I got the role in general. But me, I would like you to remember me as the dreamer. Maybe in 30 years, I'll be watching the speech on the TV screen of my flying car entering State House with my vice president, having just gotten back from treating a lion at my wild animal vet clinic. But more realistically, I may not live in State House, but that doesn't mean that my life and my work won't have a large-scale impact on the world. I won't be treating wild animals, but that doesn't mean I can't put in the effort to protect them. Just because I won't be doing what 8-year-old me thought I'd be doing, just because you didn't achieve the dreams you had at 8 or 16 or 20, doesn't mean that we're failures to our younger selves. It just means that there was another path, a better path, laid out for all of us. And in regard to my own story, my dreams will always be my dreams. But my life, my path, my reality is driven by the passion behind those dreams, a passion that I hope will never die. Thank you.
Thank you, head boy, head girl. Amazing speeches. I'm not going to try to be better than your speech because that's impossible. I can try to put that nose sound a little more to please you, Adam. But first of all, it's no more good morning, it's good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Dear colleagues, proud parents, but most importantly, you, our amazing students of St. Andrews. Today, as we gather to celebrate another year of achievements, growth, and resilience, we are reminded of the journey each of us embarks upon in pursuit of excellence. And here at St. Andrews, we truly believe that every individual has the duty to seek the highest, both metaphorically and literally. Last week, we had a visitor here, and he was telling us that his school is educating Tanzania's leaders of the future. That is amazing. That's impressive, and that's important. But if you look at St. Andrews, and if you look at our demographics, only about 38% of our families actually lives in Kenya. Small exercise here. May I ask the families, the students living in Kenya to stand up and wave at us? Who's living in Kenya? Come on, action. Hi, sir. Hello, everybody. So you are among the 38% of our families living in Kenya. But again, not every family here in Turi that actually lives in Kenya is Kenyan. We also have many families living in Kenya who are actually from somewhere else. That also means that about 62%, I can do some mathematics too, of our families live outside of Kenya. A big group of us lives in Uganda. Ugandan families, where are you, Ugandan students? Please stand up. Ah, thank you. Yeah. Also, many of us, a big group, is actually flying for more than 5 hours, not to reach the school, but just to reach Nairobi, and then drive all the way here. An immense effort of time, and that is really appreciated. So please, Nigerian families, reveal yourselves. Where are you? Yeah. Hi. I'm not going to name out all the countries where we're coming from, because they only gave me 6 minutes for this speech. But to build towards my point, which families are from the African continent? Raise up your hands. Which families live in the African continent? Everywhere. And who holds a non-African passport? Also many of them. This is a true international school. So, we can confidently say that we are educating the future leaders of Africa. And we also firmly believe that Africa is one of the leading continents of the future. So, we are educating the future leaders of our world. And yes, that is you. Seeking the highest, that is. Leaders on all fields, politics, arts, sports, doesn't matter. You are the leaders of the future. But that is also an immense responsibility for our school. What the world needs is leaders with empathy, with integrity, courageous leaders who can assess a risk and then take that risk responsibly. Servant leaders with strong values who have the best interests of their people, their organizations, and their planet at heart. And that is what we aim for with our holistic approach to education and with our leadership and adventure curriculum. So, of course, a leader must be academically grounded. Our academic excellence is therefore the foundation of our education. That is never in question. We are grateful that that part of seeking the highest is shown by our students achieving the highest marks in Kenya or worldwide. We are also constantly working to improve that, our academic foundation. But what makes us as a school unique is that we owe it to the world to go beyond that academic foundation. As we reflect on the past year, we cannot help but marvel at the incredible achievement of our students climbing Mount Kenya, the Aberdares, Mount Longonot. Mount Kenya, for example. All of them, the first bunch, because there is another trip going, all of them were successful and reached the top, where determination, teamwork, and perseverance were put to the test. Reaching the summit of these mountains is, of course, literally seeking the highest. But please hear the detail. All our students were successful. And that is only possible thanks to their developing, empathic, leadership skills. But let us not forget that achievements extend far beyond the realm of academia and physical prowess. Every individual accomplishment, whether big or small, that 1% you mentioned, contributes to the collective tapestry of our school community, from the athlete who pushes themselves to new limits on the field. Talking about these athletes, have you already seen that climbing wall? Can be tested later today. And have you seen the big hole that is turning into our new swimming pool? So, from the athlete to the artist who pours their soul onto the canvas, and the musician who touches us with their melodies, each student brings their unique talents and passions to the forefront. Also this year, performing arts was impressive again at St. Andrews. Remember the musical, the amazing pieces of art produced by our students that can be seen later today as well, and the moving music that has been performed. And it is the arts, it is our cultural expressions that make us human. It is part of God's concept of a wholesome humanity. It's the sum total of those individual and collective skills that makes us all a great leader. Yet, seeking the highest is not just about reaching the pinnacle of success in external pursuits. It is also about a journey of self-discovery, growth, faith, and character development. It's about nurturing a spirit of resilience in the face of adversity and cultivating empathy and compassion for others. It's about striving to be the best version of ourselves, not just for personal gain, but for the betterment of the world around us. To seek the highest, we need to reach out to the highest, the Almighty. And it is exactly that holistic approach that defines our St. Andrew's education. We stand for good old traditional Christian values. Embrace them. And students, please take them with you on your path of life. Are you always getting it right? No, of course not. Mistakes are being made, also this academic year, but let's own them and learn from them. And as we look to the future, let us carry with us the lessons learned from our experiences here at St. Andrews. Let us continue to challenge ourselves, to push beyond our comfort zones, and to embrace failure as a stepping stone towards greater achievements. Let us never lose sight of the values that define us as a school community: integrity, courage, and compassion. Also, this school thrives thanks to all of you, thanks to all the staff, but also thanks to many people working in the background, supporting our school, giving us direction. We have the pleasure, we are honored to work with an amazing board of governors, people who have the best of the school in mind and work silently in the background to make this school an even better place. I'm not going to mention you all, governors, today, but please allow me to take out one of you, Miss Zoe Nightingale, sitting in front of here, because she has been with us for many years, helping us, finding our direction. But unfortunately, this might be your last speech day as governor of our school. So a random applause for Miss Nightingale, please. Well, we're not only about to say farewell to Miss Nightingale, we're also about to say farewell to another graduating class, and about to welcome. Remember that seeking the highest is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. It's a journey that requires dedication, perseverance, and above all, a belief in oneself. And if you aim to become that vet or the president, you will one day. And we pray for that. So let us dare to dream big. Let's just continue dreaming big, to aim high and to never settle for anything less than the best. For it is in the relentless pursuit of excellence that we truly seek and discover the highest of our own potential. This speech day is now nearing its end. That you are here and listening so attentively for about 3 hours is my concluding proof that we at St. Andrews are indeed seeking the highest, even in terms of patience and endurance. So let us close this speech day in prayer, for which I would like to invite Reverend Heckman. Thank you.
Particularly the ones who have achieved so much today. I'm grateful for each and every one of you for giving up your morning. I'm grateful that the worst of the weather has held off. And I'm grateful that I get to finish our time with prayer. The good news is I'm not going to pray like a Kenyan. I'm going to pray like a British pastor, because I know you've all got some wonderful things to go and celebrate. So let us stand together as I close our time with a prayer and a blessing. Loving Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for all of the great achievements that have showed themselves today. Thank you for each and every student. Thank you for each and every family. Thank you for each and every member of staff that is represented here. Lord, we are truly grateful for all that you have done. Lord, may you continue our guide in this community. And as we go from this place to celebrate as families, to enjoy confirmations, to enjoy our graduation time together, we pray your blessing upon each and every one of us. And we ask this in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. And all of God's people say...
Please stay upstanding as I invite the stage party to make their way out. And even as they're walking now, I will just finish with one final thing, which is to say one last huge thank you to everyone. That is the estates team who managed to get everything ready, the catering team, which you'll be enjoying, I'm sure, shortly, all the students who've been here and have sat through well, staff. The school wouldn't be the place it is without you. And I also want to finish by thanking the parents, because we appreciate that you've braved the elements. I know that there are others who would have wished to have been here this morning and have joined us online and were not able to. And then if I can repeat a final thank you to not just the stage party, but a number of people who've been working extremely hard behind the scenes, Ms. Mbithe, Mrs. Thurlow, and Ms. Mully. They've done a huge job. So let's give them all a huge round of applause. And you can sit down now. We are officially finished. Speech Day 2024 is done. So please do take a seat. Just for me to give you a quick idea of things that are coming up. I did promise that we would try to be finished before 1. We got 17 minutes before 1, so that's pretty good. I won't question the director's mathematics. I think we've been just over 2 hours. But just for clarity, for parents who want to stay around, and particularly if you're not able to stay tomorrow after the Viso Chapel, you're welcome to connect with staff now for some informal consultations, should you wish. They will be staying around and available for the next half hour or so at least. For Year 13 parents, you're invited up to the hub where there will be drinks before the graduation events this afternoon. For others, if you want to find some food, the food court, hopefully you'll be able to make your way there, mostly on paving stones. And if you want to stop on the way at the edge, the Samburu edge of the hub, there is an art exhibition. As Mr. Simmons mentioned, there's going to be a climbing wall, an opportunity to try that from 2 o'clock. And of course, After the confirmations in Prep School Chapel this afternoon, we will then be having the graduation, for which I'm sure many of you are looking forward. Class of 2024, this was your last speech day. Well done and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.